Iowa is one of the most altered landscapes on Earth. And most of the time that's been about moving water off of the land faster. And that's resulted in the increase in flooding and natural disasters associated with heavy rainfall. And so today we're trying to look to see how we can bring some of that natural resiliency back into the landscape. Farm ponds and wetlands are a way to hold water back on the land, do it in areas that are the least productive agricultural land, so we're trying to do it in a way that works very progressively with agriculture, that also adds natural beauty to the landscape, increases wildlife and habitat and ecosystem services, and many other benefits that come with holding that water back on the land.
I think this one is almost a 6-acre basis, and I think it'll hold 40 acre-feet or close to that when it's filled up, and it'll deter that from going down and taking out the old county bridges.
Ponds are a way to help us utilize marginal ground by controlling erosion. We have livestock, and they create a source of water for our livestock. It's given us access to this 40 acres back here that otherwise was really hard to manage to get to that ground whenever it was in a wet time.
We're able to show statistics now that when we get a 2-inch rain, here's what happens. And since we have put the structures in, a lot less bad things happen.
The goal of the HUD funding is to reduce stream flow during heavy rainfall events, as well as improve water quality during all periods of the year. And the Iowa Flood Center's role in that project is to assist with monitoring and modeling and outreach and communications. So in 5 years, we have completed $4.5 million in conservation practices, 6 wetlands, nearly 50 farm ponds. We've created now 15 watershed management authorities in the state of Iowa. In the next round of the new HUD funding, we'll have $30 million in conservation practices, at least 3 new watershed management authorities that will form with our funding. And so it's a real focus on watersheds in Iowa.
The ultimate goal is to empower local communities, local groups of communities to solve their water quality and water quantity challenges. Water doesn't recognize geopolitical boundaries that we arbitrarily establish for ourselves. If you're going to solve or if you're going to try to address water quality or water quantity issues across the state, you really have to follow the lines of the landscape, and you have to follow the watersheds that naturally occur within Iowa.
We've got people from the rural, we have people from the city. We have all of these folks now interacting with each other, sharing ideas, building consensus. And that's what the Watershed Management Group can do.
We wanted something that in 30 years from now, we're all still proud of it. And I think it took a lot of cooperation from a lot of folks, but when the end result came, I think everyone was really proud of it, and that's what our main goal was.
The abilities that the Flood Center has to assess the hydrology of the watershed and then put that data together and say, hey, these areas are where you're going to get the most impact for placing your structures is huge.
We make recommendations, we point to sub-watersheds that have high runoff during heavy rainfall, and then we let the locals decide exactly what sub-watersheds they want to implement the programs in, and then it'll open it up for voluntary enrollment.
What makes me feel good about this is that we're addressing the issue now, so my kids and my grandkids will not have to look back and say, I wonder why Grandpa didn't address this.
I just wish I had more farm to put more ponds on.